Imagine this, you're standing in a crowded street, heart pounding, because the one man who broke you is walking toward you. You have seconds to hide your pain, seconds to escape, and without thinking, you throw your arms around a stranger. But what if that stranger wasn't ordinary? What if he was the one man who could change your life forever, because he wasn't just a stranger, he was a billionaire who would fall for you? Stay with me, because this story will keep you hooked until the very last second. Samantha had spent months avoiding that part of town. Her ex, Daniel, had crushed her heart and left her humiliated in front of everyone they knew. She had finally built her life back up, working at a small design studio, trying to forget. But fate was cruel, it placed him right in her path on a day when she was already exhausted from deadlines and heartbreak still raw beneath the surface. Her breath caught when she spotted him. Tall, confident, laughing with friends like he had never wrecked her world. Samantha's chest tightened. She could already hear the cruel things he had said, words that haunted her. "You're nothing without me. No one will ever want you." Her legs trembled. Her instinct screamed at her to hide, but there was nowhere. And then, like a miracle, she spotted a man just steps away, leaning against the glass window of a cafe, scrolling his phone. Without a second thought, she rushed toward him, her heart hammering, and wrapped her arms tightly around him. The stranger stiffened in surprise. His phone slipped slightly in his hand. She whispered desperately, "Please, just play along." He hesitated only for a moment. Then his arm, strong and steady, came around her shoulders, pulling her closer, as though this embrace was the most natural thing in the world. His deep voice rumbled near her ear, calm and protective. "I've got you." Daniel walked past, his smug expression faltering when he saw Samantha safe in another man's arms. He sneered, but said nothing, striding away in irritation. Samantha finally exhaled. Slowly, she pulled back, embarrassed. "I'm so sorry, The stranger's eyes met hers. They were warm, curious, and more compassionate than she had ever expected. He gave her a half-smile. Interesting way to meet someone. But hey, it worked. His name was Alexander Hale. What Samantha didn't know was that he was one of the most powerful young billionaires in the city, heir to a fortune, but weary of people only seeing his money. To her, he was just a kind stranger who had saved her from breaking all over again. And that single hug would change both of their lives. Samantha thought she would never see him again. But Alexander couldn't forget her, the girl who hugged him not for fame, not for attention, but because she needed someone to shield her. He was used to women throwing themselves at him, dazzled by his wealth. But Samantha, she didn't even know who he was. Days later, she was surprised to find Alexander waiting outside her office building. "Coffee?" he asked simply, holding 2 cups. Her instinct was to refuse, she wasn't ready for anyone new, especially not after Daniel. But there was something disarming about Alexander. Something that made her feel safe. Over coffee, laughter replaced awkwardness. She told him about her love for design, her struggles to build a name for herself. He listened, genuinely, as though every word mattered. In return, he shared pieces of his life, small glimpses, never mentioning the empire he controlled. He wanted her to know Alexander, the man, not Alexander, the billionaire. But walls are hard to break. Samantha wrestled with fear. Could she trust again? Could she risk her heart when Daniel's betrayal still bled beneath the surface? Alexander, too, had doubts. Could she ever accept him for who he really was, not for what the world saw? The turning point came one stormy night. Samantha was leaving work when she found Daniel waiting, anger in his eyes. He cornered her, throwing cruel words, mocking her for clinging to strangers. Fear coiled in her chest, until Alexander appeared. Without hesitation, he stepped between them, his presence commanding. "You don't get to talk to her like that," Alexander said firmly. His voice held quiet power that made Daniel falter. For the first time, Samantha saw not just kindness in Alexander, but strength. Daniel left, defeated. Shaking, Samantha whispered, "Why are you doing this? You don't even know me." Alexander's gaze softened. "Maybe I don't know everything yet. But I know enough that you deserve better. And I want to be the one who shows you that." Tears filled her eyes. For the first time in years, she felt seen, valued, not for what she lacked, but for who she was. It wasn't until weeks later, when Samantha accidentally discovered Alexander's true identity, a billionaire, far beyond her world, that she froze in disbelief. You're him. Alexander held her hands, eyes pleading. Yes. But to me, you're not just some girl I saved on the street. You're the one who hugged me like I was human, not a name, not a fortune. Just me. And that's the man I want to be, for you. In that moment, Samantha realized the hug she thought was desperation had led her to something rare, love that was real, love that healed. Broken heart. Sometimes life pushes us into moments of fear and desperation. But it's often in those moments that fate writes a different story, one of love, courage, and second chances. Because sometimes, the hug you give to a stranger might just bring you home.